In this video, we're going to show you how to install pads and rotors on your Nissan Murano located behind your front wheels. Note the vehicle raised and supported, so let's go ahead and use our 21mm socket to loosen and remove these lug nuts. Now we want to go grab the wheel and remove it. And we'll go ahead and remove our brake caliper, and to do so we're going to use a 17mm socket on the upper and lower slide pin bolt. Now we're going to use a pry tool. You can use a screwdriver or a small pry bar, and basically we just need to walk our caliper off. Right now is an important part here. We don't want our caliper to fall and pull on our flex hose on the back side here. So we're going to slide this off. We're going to bring our caliper up and over. Now I do have a hanging hook here. What we're going to do is hang this, support it off of our strut spring, and just slide that out of the way. With the caliper off and supported, we can go ahead and remove our brake pads. On the back side here, we have two bolts holding our caliper bracket in place. We're going to use a 22mm socket on our breaker bar to go ahead and break these free. Once we have those broken free, we're going to switch over to our ratchet. We'll go ahead, loosen and remove these the rest of the way. Before I remove this bolt completely, I'm going to leave this bolt in there just to stabilize the bracket. That way when we remove this here, the bracket doesn't start spinning around. Hold on to that bracket while we remove this bolt. And then remove that, set it aside. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and remove our brake rotor. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to toss on a lug nut here, just loosely. And what's going to happen is we're going to use our hammer to go ahead and break this free. That lug nut will keep that rotor from shooting off. Once that's free, good, and remove that lug nut. Wiggle that rotor off and set it aside. With the rotor removed, we now want to go ahead and prep the hub face itself. And the purpose of this here is that when we put on the new rotor, we want to make sure that there's no scaly rust on here. If we go to put on that brake rotor and it doesn't fit flush, you're going to get a brake pulsation just when you start rolling down the road, because that rotor is not sitting flush here, and it's going to transfer right up into that brake system. So we have our bristle brush, and I'm going to use some rust penetrant on here. Wearing safety glasses, good, get in there and start to clean up around, especially around the hub itself. The face is very important as well. Spraying this down with the rust penetrant will not only help break up some of that scaly stuff that's on there, but it's going to keep that rust dust down to a minimum. Go ahead and take some spray solvent to clean it up. All right, for any reason, if your hub is pretty bad, you need to continue. You're just going to continue this process until you're satisfied with the cleanliness of it. Once everything is cleaned up, we're now going to go ahead and apply some anti-seize compound to the hub face. Let's go ahead and rebuild our caliper bracket. Now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this up, and we're going to remove our slides here. Use our pocket screwdriver. In most cases, you could just use your fingers to pop them out. Ours are pretty rusted in there. You have one on the other side as well. Go ahead and dispose of those. Now on the side here, we have our slide pins. Now what you want to do is start by grabbing the slide pins and see if you can rotate them. That's a good sign. If these are stuck, it's going to require a bit more work and you might have to purchase some other parts later, but because these are moving, it's a good start. There's a rubber boot here, and what we're going to do is we're going to peel that boot back. We're going to grab this slide pin, twist, and pull it out. Go ahead and do the same for the other side. Now ideally what you want to do is go ahead and grab these rubber boots and we're going to pinch it by the base and try and roll those out like so. Now when you pop these out, you want to go ahead and grab these, stretch them out and roll them. And what we're looking for is any tears or any damage on here that could show signs of these failing. If they are split or look like they're about to fall apart, go ahead and replace those as needed. You're going to do it on both sides. Now the next step to this here is we're going to go ahead and we're going to spray inside both of these ports. We're going to use a little bit of rust penetrant, just spray in there. And we're going to use our bore brush on our drill. And we want to go ahead and clean this out. The purpose of this here is we want to get out any debris that's in there and any of that old grease, and we're going to use our spray solvent and flush that out. Make sure you're wearing safety glasses. And we'll set that aside and let that drain out for now. Then you want to go ahead and grab your slide pins. You can spray those down with some solvent. Go ahead and clean those. You want to inspect them. What you're looking for is rust buildup on the pins. Anything that is not smooth on here. If these are damaged, you need to replace them. You're probably going to get them with a kit with the boots themselves. But go ahead and repeat that process for the other one. Next thing you want to do is go ahead and grab those boots. You've already inspected them and they're reusable. So you want to go ahead and clean the inside. Just grab a glove. You can use your pinky, you can use the handle to your bristle brush there. And what you want to do is you got to clean out all that old garbage that's inside there. Get rid of that old grease that might be jammed up in there. And repeat that process for the other one. All right, set those aside. Now let's get and focus on the bracket itself. We're going to use our bristle brush for this. I'm going to stand this up, and right where the metal brackets were, the slides, I'm going to go ahead and spray these with some rust penetrant. Clean that up. Use our bristle brush and just get to work on it. We're going to scrub this up, and what we're looking to do is clear out any of the scaly rust or debris that might be building up here. We want to make sure that everything here is nice and smooth, because when we put our slides on here, that's where the brake pads are going to move, and we don't want anything to cause any resistance for those pads to move around in there or move one way and get stuck. Use that spray solvent to clean that up. Now, for any reason, if yours is exceptionally rusty, you can use a flat file and go in there and clean up that scaly rust. Now, we're not here to remove any metal, but we do want to make sure that that is clean, and prep work is the most important part for your new pad and rotor installation. And once you're satisfied with the work over here, you want to go ahead and flip it over and repeat the process for the other side. Now that we have this all prepped and cleaned up, let's go ahead and start by installing our boots again. Go ahead and line these up, and basically you're going to pinch these and kind of roll those in. Get your pinky in there, kind of work that in, make sure that is seated in there. And do the same on this one here. I'm going to pinch it and roll that in. You want to make sure that they're fully seated. Now at this point here, I'm going to take your slide pins, And you want to put some grease on here. You don't want a ton. Smear that around, thin coat. Then you're going to take a little dab and put it inside the boot. Go ahead and grab that pin, work that in. I like to rotate it as it's going in. Pull that boot back and pop that on. Now if it feels like that pin is pushing back out, that means it's captured air in here. Just peel that boot back, crack open the edge of it there, and pull this back. You can see a little bit of grease pushed out there. It's releasing some of that air. Just give it a good pivot in there. I'm going to go ahead and repeat the process for the other one. Go ahead and stand it up, and we're going to take that grease, and we're going to put some grease here. Thin coat. So once you get some in there, smear it around with your glove. We don't want big globs of it sitting there. Go ahead and grab your slides. And there's tabs on the inside here that line up with the bracket. Good, press those down. You want to make sure that they're nice and flush. And flip this over. I want to repeat this process for the other side. All right. Our caliper bracket is rebuilt and ready to install. Next thing we want to do is go ahead and push the pistons into our caliper. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab a reservoir here. I'm going to pull this off. But you do want to make sure that your bleeder screw here, I'm going to pull off the rubber cap. This is a 10 millimeter. And you want to make sure that this bleeder screw will open up. So if you want to, you can go ahead and soak that with some rust penetrant. Let that set in for a little bit. And what you want to do is be able to open that. Turn it counterclockwise. When you open it, you'll see some brake fluid start to come out. Close that up quickly because you don't want to lose too much of that yet. I'm going to snug that a little bit. I'm going to pull this down. And now we're going to flip this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up our tool here to push these pistons in. Once this is set up, I'm going to go ahead and take this hose and attach it to our bleeder screw. We're going to open that up. And as we push these pistons in, it's going to push the fluid down and into our reservoir. All right, so this can get a little bit messy, but I'm going to open up that screw, hold my hose on here, and I'm going to go ahead and start to push. And you can see that fluid running down inside that hose. We're slowly compressing our pistons in. Once those pistons are pressed in, we're going to use our wrench. We're going to close this up. Go ahead and snug that down. And we're going to flip this back down. You can see that our pistons are recessed in as far as they can go. Remove our tool. I'm going to go ahead and use some spray solvent to just clean this up. Give that a quick wipe. I'm going to go ahead and throw my little cap back on here. If you don't have that rubber cap, it's not detrimental to the operation of the brakes. And I'm going to go ahead and rehang this. Remove our little remote reservoir. Go ahead and grab your brake rotor. Now, just a heads up, when you get your brake rotor, chances are they're going to be in a bag and they're going to be coated in an oil. You want to go ahead and make sure that you set these up on like the cardboard box, spray down the front and the back with some spray solvent and wipe off all of that residual oil that is there to prevent the items from rusting in shipping. I'm going to go ahead and throw a lug nut on here. That'll pretty much just hold this in place while we work on the rest of it. Go ahead and get that bracket into place. Get that upper bolt started here. Go ahead and get that lower one lined up. Get that started there. All right, let's go ahead and snug those down. Let's go ahead and torque down those two bolts to 107 foot-pounds. I'm going to go ahead and install our brake pad here. Now there's one tab here that goes inside on the slide itself. And then this one here will apply outward pressure. All right, so we have the bottom slid in. Just slide that top one in there. Now we're just going to repeat this process for the outboard pad. Get our upper pad in. Now with our pads in place, we go ahead and grab our caliper. Remove that, and we're going to slide this right over. All right, now that we have our caliper in place, and get our upper bolt started here. Slide this back and forth, get that lined up. All right, let's go ahead and snug those down. Let's go ahead and torque these bolts down to 34 foot-pounds. Now at this point here, you go ahead and repeat this process for the passenger side. Don't forget, you want to get up into the vehicle, pump up the brake pedal, make sure these pistons compress. Grab your wheel. Get it set up on those studs. Then we're going to go ahead and start all of our lug nuts by hand. Now you want to start these by hand. That's going to prevent cross-threading and damaging the studs. Once you get them all started, we'll go ahead and snug these down. All right, let's now torque it down. Let's now go ahead and torque down the lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds. Now when tightening this here, it's best to do it in a crisscross or star pattern. And you're all set. With the hood open, go ahead and locate your master cylinder reservoir. Before opening up the cap, I want to go ahead and grab some spray solvent and a rag. Spray this down and clean this. We don't want to have any debris fall down inside of this reservoir when we open it up. On the side, you're going to see the min and max line here. Make sure you're using the appropriate brake fluid recommended by the manufacturer. Go ahead and fill it up to that max line. Close up the cap. Take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.